All right, my friends, just got off the horn. Well, not just, but an hour and a half ago with a guy, nice guy, paying some dude 1% a year on his investments, has mutual funds in there. Looked up, the first fund was his bond fund, expense ratio 0.73. So that's 1.73 on a bond fund. All right. 2, the guy manages a portion of his money, or manages this portion of his money that's outside his IRA, his 401k. And one is an IRA, and one is 2 accounts, and one's in a taxable account. And guess how the account is broken down? The same exact holdings on each side of the equation. So not only does he have freaking bonds in his taxable account, and the guy's single, making over $100,000 a year. All right, but those bonds, the mutual fund, not bonds like individual bonds, mutual fund bonds. Not only is he charging total all-in fee of 1.73%, which freaking pisses me off. Pardon my French. I know it's a family show, but this stuff right here it gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves, and I mean, look, I don't want the regulators to come down because I don't trust the regulators as far as I could kick them. I'm not one of these guys, we need more government. No, screw that. The reason that we're in this predicament is because we got more government to begin with, because they start hammering commission-based salespeople and force everyone to do this fee-based accounts. So now you got a guy paying 1%, and he's got freaking bond mutual funds in there. And I even look at the equity funds he's got, because if the bonds are 0.73%, hell, the equity is going to be freaking significantly higher than that. It's freaking nuts, man. So his all-in fee is probably 2%, but even more than that, what ticks me off. So this guy's making good money. He got a big distribution of interest income last year. Why? Because he's got the bonds in a taxable account. On top of that, I didn't even bother looking at the equity. He only got 3 funds, the equity funds. One's an international, so he's got one international stock fund, one U.S. stock fund, and then some bonds. I don't know what the fee, I don't care. You cannot convince me. It's impossible. Don't try. I don't even care what the funds are. They're not index funds. And if his bond funds are charging 73 basis points, the stock funds are charging probably more than that. And they're essentially going to be closet index funds, which piss me off. And on top of that, they're going to have distributions in there on top of his bond interest income. And so he got hit walloped with some pretty big gains last year, 1099s. Of interest, dividends, and capital gains. I'm sure there's even some short-term capital gains in there. So for a single guy making over $100,000, that's all the flipping wrong answer. On top of that, he's got the same freaking holdings in his IRA. It's insane. And so we're looking at the account, and I say, interesting. One of your equity funds is down, $10,000 or something like that. Your other is right at cost basis. And your bonds are right at cost basis too. All right, so basically, you should sell these puppies, get out of them, fire this guy, and it won't be a taxable issue, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of fees. Now, this is a nice man. He doesn't want to fire this guy because he's like, look, I know this guy. That's the problem that we've got. The problem that we have, though, is his advisor is doing him any good. His advisor is making him pay more tax than he needs to. And on top of that, it's not making his portfolio efficient. And on top of that, he's hurting him financially because he's charging too much in fees. There's no 2 ways around that. And so now we have, he's not calling him about his tax loss harvesting. But I'm going to wait till the end of the year to do that. Why? Why would you do that? Take the losses now. Reinvest in something a little bit different. That we don't have to worry about the wash sale. If the markets fall against it, take the losses again. But either way, get the freaking heck out of these high-cost mutual funds where you're getting walloped with taxes, where you don't have any long-term capital gains in there, so there's no tax effect at all of getting out of these things. Save that 1% and just make your portfolio much more efficient. And on top of that, this guy, of course, does, which was what I'd say 90% of financial advisors do this. We're going to put your moderately aggressive portfolio. Thus, your IRA and your taxable account will be the same, which is freaking insanity. Now, what they'll say, because I talked to a lady down in Florida who has a Vanguard account. She got a Roth, she got traditional. I can't remember if she has a tax or not. I told her I want the Roth to be 100% stocks, traditional have the bonds. And Vanguard gave her a hell of a time. I say, well, you're a moderate investor, so we should do 50-50. I said, you are doing 50-50. Well, I mean, again, I don't know the exact scenario, but the thing is, Vanguard gave her a hard time because even though she was a moderate investor, they could not put two and two together that the entirety of the picture is a moderate investor, not the specific accounts. Oh my goodness. I'm just sitting there thinking, this is freaking chaos, man. This is just bad across the board. And this is Vanguard Advisory Report for the personal advisory services. It's freaking nuts. And so anyway, so this guy now has stocks that are growing. Well, they're not growing because they're paying too much in fees. But presumably after 15, 20 years, they would have grown. And then he's got to take distributions out because of RMDs. And guess what, my friends? He has huge 401k, well over $1 million. And so his first year RMD, minimum distribution, will be, let's say, $45,000. He's going to have Social Security. And on top of that, his taxable portfolio is going to be paying out some serious capital gains and taxes too. So he's well in the 22% tax bracket. That's some good financial planning there, guy. And I'm not talking to my friend here. I'm talking to the guy who's a man who's running his money for him. That's some good work there, buddy. Anyway, so the first rule of thumb, if you're paying some guy, and I say guy all inclusive, I say guy for good things, a manhole. Remember they got, what is it, Berkeley just said you can't use the term manhole covers anymore because it's offensive to, I guess, the women who go down in the manholes to clean the sewers out, because I'm sure there's just tons and tons of women going down in the sewers to clean out those the sewage systems in Berkeley, California. So we can't say manholes because it's offensive. So when I say man or some guy, I'm including women in there who aren't serving their clients right. And when I say guys who are doing good, I'm including women in there too. I'm old school. I'm still going to refer to I'm not going to be one of these guys who says she all the time. I will throw that in, but I'm not going to be like now it's politically correct. Anytime you write a blog, you say she took the money out. She did this instead of saying, man, we used to say he. So now everyone wants to show that they're with it. And now they all say she. So the tables have turned 100%. And I'm not going to do that. I just say guy because that's all inclusive. I say, hey, you guys. Oh my goodness, you said something offensive, Josh. I don't care. Manhole. It's a manhole. No women's going down in the sewers to clean out the sewers. I'm telling you right now. All right. So again, this guy is not doing his client right at all. Of course, everyone and their mom will say this guy's serving his client better because he's not charging commission, and that's absolutely unequivocally wrong. It's 100% incorrect. The commission guy would have got paid on the front end. The fees essentially would have stopped except for what's called a 12B1 fee, which is 25 basis points a year. And once those fees are reduced significantly, the only time that commission guy would be doing wrong by his client was if he's churned it. And those days are pretty much gone now. Now you gotta do these things called mutual fund switches. Everybody on their mom is looking at what's going on there. No one's doing that anymore. Look, man, when I say no one, please, for the love of me, I shouldn't have to spell this out. There are some people still doing bad stuff. But the focus now, it shouldn't be on the commission people. It should be on the fee-based people who aren't doing their client service at all. And yet they're still getting reverse churning, where they're getting these fees on a regular basis for not doing anything. In fact, this guy told me he had I've heard from other people, they've had advisors paying 1% a year. Never hear from these guys. They'll get an email once a year. We just want to check in. I mean, it's completely bland. Just just straight from corporate headquarters. We just want to validate that nothing's changed in your life, that you're still a moderate investor. All right, that's good. That's good feedback there, corporations. Yeah, I'm bitter by these people because they're doing it. What's it called? We call it capture. What's it called? I can't remember. But you got the regulators are shoving. It's no different than political lobbying. And the regulators are shuffling back and forth between the people they regulate. And then Obama leaves office. They go work for the same companies that they were regulating before. Trump comes in office. The same people that were on the right-wing side of it and go to work for the government. Trump leaves office. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over. We have the same thing in the SEC, FINRA. It's the same thing, man. All these guys are scratching each other's back. You think they're really looking out for you? I mean, come on. If they were looking out for you, there'd be no money to be made in this business because there is no money to be made in managing money. And we all know this. Actually, my man Jack just sent me this book, and I wish Clinton didn't write the foreword, because Clinton, but Bogle, my man, I'm going to buy it anyway because I love Bogle. It's called Enough, and my man Jack, he just put me on the Bogleheads podcast. I just listened to it before I started doing this rant, and I had never heard of the Bogleheads podcast, so I'm very much looking forward to it. But anyway, so Bogle did a book, I guess in 2010, something like that, with Clinton writing the foreword, and that's when Clinton still had some aura. Those days are gone, thankfully. But yeah, I almost didn't buy it as it's being shipped. Just one more book to add to the library, but this one I do plan on reading, because I plan on reading all my books. Jeez Louise. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to this, and we'll see what old Billy Epstein says about the foreword to the Bogle book. But I'm looking forward to Bogle's rant on the industry, because this, I think he knew his time was limited, and he was going to lay it out and piss a lot of people off, and I love it. That's why I love Bogle. He wasn't there to make a friend of the enemy, a friend of the industry. He was there to make a friend of you, the investor, the middle-class client, try to make you wealthier through good financial planning, simple investment management, low fees, low taxes, low turnover, just good old-fashioned basic American values of hard work, industry, and just sitting back there in time and patience. All right, so anyway, that's my little rant. If you got a guy who's run your money, he's charging you 1% a year, I would ask what you're getting for it. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. And then I look at my portfolio and I say, what do I got in my IRA? What do I got in my taxable account? What do I got in my Roth? If they're all the same thing, I'm sorry, you're not getting served. If you have taxable account and you got losses in there, and you're not taking those losses, and at the same time you're getting 1099s, you're not being served. So stop paying these people, because they're not serving you. All right, don't forget to smash. Sorry about being so irked here. This annoys me. We'll see you next time.